Hello and welcome to this conversation between myself, Jonny McFarlane, and Daniel Gray, the editor of Nutmeg magazine. We're here to discuss the collaboration that we've done together for Euro 2024. It's a celebration of all things to do with the European Championships, a tournament that is very close to any football fan's heart. We're going to discuss a little bit about why we've come together to do this, what the plans are for the tournament itself, and discuss a little bit about the articles that we've got in the magazine and why you should purchase it, which is obviously really important. There'll be a link in the social media that's accompanying this video that you can get on and purchase your copy. Importantly as well, we've got an offer at the moment which gives you a chance to win 2 tickets to Scotland versus Germany, that opening match of the tournament, which is going to be in very, very high demand. It's already very expensive to get yourself a ticket, so you've got a chance to win if you do purchase Nutmeg. Dan, let's get on to the collaboration itself. Tell us a bit, first of all, about Nutmeg for anyone who's watching on the Herald channels who doesn't know what the magazine is, how it started, and why we've come together to do this from your point of view.
Nutmeg started in 2016. I just came on board as a writer at that point, and the idea of it was to have basically high-class storytelling about all aspects of Scottish football. So that goes past, present and future. Nostalgic pieces, profile pieces with players now, and then things looking at the future of the game. So the idea is to cover all aspects and to treat everyone equally. So a story about Cowdenbeath is given the same prominence as a story about Celtic, for example, if the story is good. It's very much led by the story. The magazine comes out every 3 months, so 4 times a year. It's a thick thing, so it takes you those nice 3 months to relax and enjoy. We're very big on the print element. It smells good. It's always been about something that takes you away from your screen in these screen-heavy times, and that you can relax in really as an object. So that's important to us. The production values are really, really high and have been maintained that whole time. We're up to issue 32 now. But it's something people can pick up at issue 32, issue 33. It hasn't got a narrative apart from it drips with this love of the Scottish game. I became editor after a while, and I think my advantage is actually not being Scottish. Don't take that the wrong way, but it means I have no biases. I have very much a rose-tinted view of the game here, in that I love travelling around to different grounds. I love the heritage of football here, the authenticity of it, and the way most people can hold a conversation about football with you in Scotland, which I just love. And that comes through in the pages, I think. We want to show that. It's critical love, so we'll have pieces about things that aren't great in the game at the moment, but it comes from that place, that celebratory place of... when I moved up here, Scotland was always comparing its football to the English Premier League. Now, the English Premier League is a different sport almost. I think Scottish football should celebrate what it is and what is good and bad and infuriating about it, and that's what the magazine is. Moving on to the present or the recent present, we started talking with you at the Herald because of a lot of shared values, a belief in quality writing, quality storytelling, and the great traditions of the Herald that have gone on for well over 100 odd years. In that
240 this year.
I was going to say, what am I on about? Many centuries, we can call it. To bring that on board with the modernising you're doing now as well, around this great event, which is Scotland's qualification. All right, we're filming in a week when there's a bit of a feel-bad factor, but it needn't last. And these pages are always there to cheer you up in those fallow times. That's what the nostalgic element is about for the escape.
We're just going to pretend that the Northern Ireland game didn't happen. No, that's the plan.
It's the big games.
It's not, as Steve Clark said after the game, it's what matters is what happens against Germany on that first game in Germany. And I think there's a lot to be excited about, regardless of slightly patchy form at this stage. Now, in terms of the Euros itself, the focus of this piece that we've done together and the pieces that are inside it is the tournament as a whole. Yeah. And I think for anyone who follows football, anyone who has been a student of the history of the game, you look back over the major tournaments, and these are always imbued with incredible memories, incredible sense of what was happening in your life at the time, because if you're a football fan, it kind of punctuates your life, like what was happening when Scotland played Brazil. I remember the whole day of World Cup 1998 and that opening game, as if it was yesterday. Literally, I remember what I was doing in the morning, I remember what I was doing after the game, I remember where I was for the game. And for a whole new generation of fans who just haven't been used to that idea of Scotland qualifying, this is going to be a game like that, especially the first game, when all the hopes and dreams and excitement is building up. And I think we felt, certainly at the Herald, and I know you agree, that we really, really wanted to mark the occasion. There's a sense that maybe the last Euros being held all over the continent and without fans was a bit of a sort of diet tournament, whereas this in Germany, a nation that is known for its passion for the game, the ability to get all the fans back into the stadiums, it really is the full booner this time. It's full fat Coke, if you will. Other brands are available. And very, very exciting indeed. So to mark that, we thought we'd come together. Again, it's about those brand values, high quality, long form writing, which is something that perhaps is perhaps something of a dying art these days. Not having quite the space and time that journalists once had. So Nutmeg is a perfect opportunity to get people to do that, and some really, really exciting content in there. Was there anything in particular that jumps out at you, Dan, that you're particularly excited about from a Nutmeg perspective?
What we were keen to do was have the usual range. So, as a reader, some days you want to read a player interview, or indeed the Steve Clarke, Danny Garavelli piece, which is magnificent, which I'm sure we'll come to. You want to read an interview with someone else, or you want to wallow in the past. And so we were keen on that mix, which between us we've absolutely achieved. So I was really pleased to this range is encapsulated by the fact we've got a long form article that breaks down Steve Clarke's tactics by Joshua Barry that really goes into all of that side of the game, the very modern side of the game. And we've got Nutmeg's own Liam Kirkcaldy in pursuit of Yori Geller, who he manages to find and have a lovely interview with. And they've become good mates. I'm sure with Yori WhatsApping Liam pictures of his car made of spoons and things since the interview took place. So something beautiful.
I'm glad you went there. I was starting to get concerned.
Yes, so something beautiful has happened from this. So Liam set out to find the truth behind, did Yori Geller move the ball for the penalty in Euro 96, which I was watching from a different perspective, as you can imagine with my accent. But it became so much more. And there's something lovely about that. It became a story of Yori Geller trying to find redemption among the Scottish people and ending up buying an island off North Berwick. So it's worth the admission fee alone for that kind of article. We have Cameron Carter, known for his great TV columns in When Saturday Comes magazine, reviewing past Euros television. So it's that we've got the monster, we've got kit design at the back, but we bring that nutmeggy style to it as well with those style of things, as well as the fantastic journalism, nostalgia, photography we've got in there as well. For my own part, yes. I had a great treat in that you gave me permission to go and look at the Herald photograph archive, which is held in the Mitchell Library. Wow. And Aladdin's Cave, if ever I saw one, shelf after shelf of photography about everything but these two football shells, and in particular these envelopes marked Euro 96 and Euro 92. There's some good action shots in there, obviously, the quality of the photographer that would have been there at those tournaments, but it's the behind-the-scenes stuff. So we've got in here some brilliant photos of fans going down to London and to Birmingham in 96, and then across to Sweden in 92. So I love the modern stuff, then we've managed to do it, and the insight and the access you've been able to get, but there's much to wallow in the past here until the tournament begins, and that makes it a bit of a souvenir, I think, as well, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And from my point of view, obviously we're known for high quality journalism, so it was absolutely essential that we get some good interviews. We wanted to get Steve Clarke, which we were able to secure. Fantastic interview with Danny Garavelli, which we'll talk about in another video with Danny. But she sat down with Steve, I think, for a couple of hours. And it really, really is a wonderfully insightful piece on a guy who I think there's a slightly different perception of him to what he actually is like face-to-face, one-to-one. Don't think he's as taciturn as what people suggest from his video interviews, although he was pretty taciturn, it must be said, after the Northern Ireland game. But again, we'll swiftly move on from that one. I think there's also a lot of stuff in there. As you mentioned, Joshua Barry, he's got a terrific interview with Nathan Patterson, went down to Everton, spent some time with Nathan discussing his career, his journey through the youth setup at Rangers, where he was obviously a standout. and then getting that £16.5 million move to Everton, where he has he's had an up and down time certainly since Sean Dyche came in, but has shown at times in the Premier League that he's a really, really talented lad and capable of being a really good Scotland player in future. On top of that, we've got a wonderful piece by Matthew Johnson, the sports editor, who is a massive Doonhamer, big Queen of the South fan. And his favourite player, if you listen to him talk about him, has been quite clearly for a long time London Dykes. So to get him to be able to go down to QPR, go down to London and sit down with London, and it's a very sort of personal interview.
Beautifully written, but the insight as well, and interesting photography. We didn't expect to have a half-naked tattooed man in Nutmeg, so we're breaking down all sorts of barriers in what we've printed there.
Indeed, and that's one of the interesting things is obviously the Herald, we're used to using photography every day is what we do, but Nutmeg tends to be more driven by the written words.
Yes, yeah.
But this edition is very different, as you've also already mentioned. There's a lot of photography in it, and how do you kind of feel that adds or changes the dynamic of this particular collaboration?
It enriches it, and it's right actually, because you want the souvenir edition. And I, as a kid, I used to get 90 minutes shoot when Saturday Comes, all of them, and I loved summer specials and things, and new season specials that came out, and tournament specials that came out. So you want it to be a bit different as a special. The spine is yellow, that's different. We alternate between other coloured spines, but so the photography adds that element of the different. It's that word bumper. I remember being a teenager, it was like the bumper shoot that you take on holiday with you. That's what I wanted this to be, and the photography has brought that. And I should say it isn't a parochial thing either. There's plenty of European matter in there. Great piece about the origins of Panenka and its meaning in Czech culture. It's quite in-depth stuff, but really accessibly written. So it's about Scotland and the Euros, but it's about the European element as well, which I like. Because if you like football, you tend to love it wherever it is and whatever it's about. And we've brought that on board as well. It's a tournament of the continent, and it it's full of that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much to enjoy in this Nutmeg European 2024 special, and I'm sure that if you purchase a copy, you will find it fantastic. We've been poring over them here in Herald Towers since they arrived in the building in the last few days.
Take it on the plane with you.
It smells terrific, and it would be perfect to take with you. And there's absolutely tons to read. It'll take you a long time to get through it, because there is so many words there, and there's so many different fantastic pieces to sink your teeth into. Now, it's available right now, as I said before, on the link underneath. If you purchase it, it's £12, and that will be sent directly to your address. It also puts you into the draw to win 2 tickets for that opening game, Germany against Scotland in Munich. That's going to be, as I say, pretty much the most exciting game since 1998. So,
am I allowed to enter? Have we checked that?
You're definitely not allowed to enter, unfortunately, Dan. Sorry about that. But I think, back of the fag packet mass, 26 years, the biggest game in 26 years in Scottish football. So, really, really exciting. The tickets are like gold dust. If you buy a copy of Nutmeg, not only do you get this fantastic magazine, but you get a chance to win that too. So listen, you know what to do. The link's underneath. It's also going to be available in all good newsagents. I think it's going into Tesco's as well. So there'll be lots of places to be able to purchase it. But any support would be massively appreciated. It's been a bit of a labour of love for everyone involved. So we're delighted with it, and we hope you will be too. Dan, listen, thank you for coming in. Thanks for talking to me.
Certainly.
And let's hope that when we next sit down to chat, we're discussing Scotland's fantastic progression into the next stage, the last 16, for the first time in the history of the nation.
We'll do a special, we'll do a reprint.
Well, exactly. That's the positive side of things as well. Yeah. But listen, I think the nation will be too drunk to be thinking about that at that point if it happens. So let's hope that that's what we're talking about come that stage of the Euros. But for everyone who's been watching, thanks very much, and buy a copy as soon as you can. Thanks.